And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And guess what? Boy, have I got a special show for you today, because my genius grandson Joey is here on the air with me. Joey, how you doing?
Great, how are you?
I'm great. Are you as excited as I am at being together today? Matter of fact, we'll be together today and tomorrow, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's going to be exciting, and we've got a great show for you today. As usual, Joey, we're going to talk about what's in the news, and God knows there's a lot of news, and it all starts with the letter T.
Yeah. You know those alerts that you get on your phone now with the new, they're just constant. I'll get home from school and there's like 5 or 6 of them. I'm like, I can't read all this news.
Unbelievable. Lots of news. We're going to also talk about new legislation. The IRS loses. We'll continue our segment, tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Today's story is going to be Dreams of Ivy Island. And my grandson Joey is going to be giving us that later on today, along with a couple of other things, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just so you know, we don't do the Harvard tip of the day anymore. For some reason, Harvard has gotten lazy, and they're not updating that thing. So we are doing the lifestyle tip of the day. We're doing the useless but
Interesting but useless
facts. Yeah, we're doing it. Anyway, that's good stuff to go. Today, our own Sean LaFave will be with us. He'll be talking about healthcare, and God only knows what else, but we'll be talking about a lot of things. Sean's a fun guy. He makes for a great, great show. All right, now I want you to know that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific time, currently 64 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It won't be sunny that much longer. They're expecting some rain tonight, and then all the way through Tuesday, I think. The low tonight is going to be 47 degrees. Later on in the show, we'll try and update you on weather around our broadcasting nation. So hopefully you'll enjoy all of that. But right now, let's go ahead and talk about the news. And the first up at the top is Trump pledges to end political limits on churches. Whatever happened to the separation of church and state, Joe?
Must have gotten lost somewhere in the 200 years we've kind of been.
Man, there's a lot of things happening in Washington, D.C. out of that Oval Office that are just scary these days. You know, declaring that religious freedom is under threat, President Donald Trump vowed today to repeal a rarely enforced IRS rule that says pastors who endorse candidates from the pulpit risk losing their tax-exempt status. I will get rid of and totally destroy the Johnson Amendment and allow our representatives of faith to speak freely and without fear of retribution, Trump said at a national prayer breakfast, a high-profile event bringing together faith leaders, politicians, and dignitaries. Trump's pledge was a nod to his evangelical Christian supporters who helped power his White House win. So far, he has not detailed his plans for doing away with the rule, which he has previously promised to rescind. Named after then-Senator Lyndon Johnson, the regulation has been in place since 1954 for tax-exempt charities, including churches, though it is very rare for a church to actually be penalized. They kind of do this all the time, Joe.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that rule.
Well, you hadn't.
No.
You know, they're talking about Lyndon Johnson. It was the president of the United States, but it was before he was president. And it really doesn't have anything to do with the separation of church and state. It has to do with the leaders of churches are not allowed to give preferences or talk about political candidates in politics. Well, or they would lose their tax exempt status at the IRS. Well, you know what? I'm not so sure that I don't think he's right on that. Nobody should have their mouth taped shut around here, and I don't think there's any reason that the leader of a church or a pastor or anybody like that doesn't have the right to say what he feels. I mean, every senator, every congressman, everybody else in this world has a right to say something. Why not them?
You know, I don't know enough about this particular rule to be any authority on it, but just from what you said, I think that there's a difference between stating an opinion and saying like, okay, so you're not a member of this or that.
Yeah, if you don't vote this way, you're not a member of our church.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? GOP senators move Trump EPA pick ahead as the Democrats boycott the vote. You know, Republicans suspended Senate committee rules today to muscle President Donald Trump's pick to lead the Environmental Protection Agency toward confirmation after Democrats boycotted a vote. It was the latest sign of a political hostilities on Capitol Hill as Senate Democrats used parliamentary procedure to delay votes on some of Trump's cabinet nominees, and Republicans used their slim Senate majority to advance and improve them. Also today, two Senate committees voted along party lines to send Trump's nominee to lead the White House Budget Office, South Carolina GOP Representative Mick Mulvaney, to the full Senate for a vote. As the scheduled meeting to discuss EPA nominee Scott Pruitt was gavelled to order, the seats reserved for the 10 Democrats on the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee were empty for the second consecutive day. Committee rules required that at least 2 members of the minority party be present for a vote to be held. Well, the 11 Republicans voted unanimously to temporarily suspend those rules and then voted again to advance the nomination of Pruitt, the state attorney general of Oklahoma. Well, we'll see what happens with that. You know what? This obstructionism, I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican, an independent, a purple people eater. There's no place for obstructionism in the United States. You don't agree with me. Let's take a vote. Let the vote stand. But for Pete's sake, let's move forward.
I think it was more of it's a protest thing. And it is political craziness.
Joey, it's a protest that the people we have elected to do a job for us are doing, and they're not protesting on our behalf. They're doing it for themselves because they're ticked off.
The way I see it, though, is it's not going to last. None of this stuff lasts. Like the whole boycott on the Senate floor over the summer, that didn't last.
It's just a waste of money, Joe. Here's the thing. Because you hit the nail on the head. It's not going to last. It's not going to happen that way. They're going to get through anyway. All they're doing is wasting money doing these kinds of things. And there's just no sense in it. If the ultimate result is going to be what it's going to be, that's silly. They're just wasting our money and our time, and causing problems, I think. Anyway, Trump puts Iran on notice after a ballistic missile test. President Donald Trump said today that his administration has put Iran on notice, echoing comments from his top national security advisor that the U.S. will act against Iran unless it stops testing ballistic missiles and supporting Houthi rebels in Yemen. Trump and his national security advisor, Michael Flynn, didn't elaborate on what retaliatory actions the U.S. could pursue. Trump tweeted, Iran has been formally put on notice for firing a ballistic missile, should have been thankful for the terrible deal that the U.S. made with them. He added in another tweet, Iran was on its last legs and ready to collapse until the U.S. came along and gave it a lifeline in the form of the Iran deal, $150 billion. Yeah. You know what? And they're not keeping the deal, Joe. So even though it's scary, somebody's got to draw a line in the sand that we make indelible, don't you think?
Like I said, I don't know enough about the deal to...
Oh, the Iran deal? This is a nuclear deal about stopping...
Well, I know the gist of the Iran deal, but I've not read it. Oh. I've not listened a lot about it. I definitely am going to. Yeah. But, I don't know enough about it, really, to be any authority or to have that much of an opinion on it.
Other than to know that it's a scary situation, right? Other
than know it's scary and that all of this should be dealt very carefully without any rash decisions and
from the mouths of babes comes that kind of logic. That is absolutely a fact. You hit the nail on the head. Anyway, we got to take a short break, Joe. When we come back, we're going to talk about police storm a prison in the hostage standoff and a guard is found dead. I'll tell you all about this right after we return from these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:13 p.m. Pacific time, 64 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 47 degrees, but I've got all the sunshine in my heart because it's just flowing like crazy because my genius grandson Joey sitting right next to me here in the studio, and we're having a great time, aren't we, Joe?
Yeah.
You know, it's phenomenal. As always. Yeah, as always. You can say that again. Never as good as it is when you're here with me. Anyway, let's talk some more about the news. You know, police storm a prison. They end a hostage standoff, and a guard is found dead. Using a backhoe to smash through a barricade of foot lockers, authorities stormed Delaware's largest prison early today and ended nearly a 24-hour hostage standoff involving inmates armed with sharpened objects. One hostage, a guard, was found dead. A second hostage, a female counselor, was safely rescued minutes after the tactical teams forced their way into the all-male 2,500 prisoner James T. Vaughn Correctional Center. Some inmates had shielded her from harm, officials said. Well, that's good news, I think, huh?
Yeah,
they're prisoners, they're inmates, and they actually shielded her. I think that was a good thing. Anyway, Governor John Carney called the uprising a fortuitous ordeal. In a statement, he said authorities will hold accountable those responsible and make whatever changes are necessary to ensure nothing like it ever happens again. Well, let's certainly hope so. There's just bad stuff that goes on, I guess. And you know what? Hey, you're anxious to go to college, right, Joe?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, Berkeley chaos spurs questions at birthplace of free speech. You know, the chaos at University of California, Berkeley was shocking. Protesters set fires, smashed windows, hurled explosives at police, and ultimately achieved their goal of canceling an appearance by right-wing provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos. Wow, can you believe I got that one?
Milo Yiannopoulos isn't.
Is that it? Oh, it says Yiannopoulos.
It's
Yiannopoulos.
It's Milo Yiannopoulos. He had there was a scandal with him over the summer where he had some things on Twitter, and then Twitter completely and totally banned his account because he had said certain things on Twitter that they didn't like.
Well, the scene gained worldwide attention, not just because of the mayhem, but because of where it took place. UC Berkeley is the birthplace of the free speech movement and has been known for more than half a century as a bastion of tolerance. As the university cleaned up Thursday, or today I should say, struggled with questions about why the violence spun out of control and what has happened to the open-minded Berkeley of the 1960s. It was not a proud night for this campus, school spokesman Dan Mogilov said, later adding, "We are proud of our history and legacy as the home of the free speech movement." Well, I believe in free speech. I believe in the right of assembly. I don't believe in the right to destroy private property of any kind, whether it's ours as citizens or private or public.
I think it's made very simple in the Constitution.
And it says?
It says you have the right to free speech as long as you aren't hurting anybody or there's no hate speech, that type of thing. And you can't protest and destroy private property. You can't riot.
Right.
So follow the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there'd be no problems, right?
Yeah, it's laid out to where you can protest.
Yeah.
But, just don't smash windows.
And I believe in that part of it. I really do. It's just that these protesters, I don't know what they're thinking. Some of them become thugs.
I think it's a lot of, it's the anger aspect. Just the anger gets so out of control, and a lot of these protesters need to check that before their peaceful protest turns into a riot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, rebuilding shattered Aleppo will take billions in peace.
That's going to be hard to find.
Absolutely. You know what? Fighting has ended in Aleppo, and now talk is beginning to turn to the question of how to rebuild Syria's largest city, where entire blocks have been smashed and rubble in scenes reminiscent of World War II devastation. The task will take tens of billions of dollars, but hopes for rebuilding collide with daunting realities. Without a comprehensive peace deal to Syria's civil war, Western nations are unlikely to give funds to the government of President Bashar Assad, which remains under U.S., European, and Arab sanctions that bar aid. Even Assad's allies, Russia and Iran, which are bankrolling his rule, show little enthusiasm to shoulder rebuilding costs. What they ought to do is just build a mausoleum and put that son of a gun in it. I almost said something else, but that's what they ought to do. Can you imagine he's killing his own people?
Yeah, it's just
I can't. I just can't. Just drives me nuts. Well, Joe, here's our last story for the day. Let's deal with some controversy. Trump's sanctuary city order splits red and blue states. President Donald Trump's promised crackdown on sanctuary cities has triggered divergent action from blue and red states, revealing that the deep national divide on immigration has immigration as some move to follow his order, and others break with the United States government to protect immigrants in the country illegally. California, the nation's most populous state, is pushing for a statewide sanctuary that would prohibit law enforcement from cooperating with federal immigration authorities, while a fellow U.S.-Mexico border state, Texas, is seeking to withhold funding from cities with the policies. Well, you know what? Our own Governor Moonbeam, Jerry Brown here, is just one royal pain in the butt, right? Although I understand he's got prostate cancer, so he probably knows what being a pain in the ass is all about. I don't wish him bad, but he is getting to be a real pain in the ass, just like he's got himself.
I'm not familiar with the intricacies of the sanctuary city ruling. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Because we're a border city, we're considered a sanctuary city because we're allowing immigrants to come in here. We protect them, we give them identification, we give them education, we give them medical care, we give them all those things, and we don't deport them. That makes us a sanctuary city. Sort of like, in the old days when immigrants would and outlaws would seek asylum in churches. That was the same thing as sanctuary.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Joe, we can't go any further here because when we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. We're going to talk about good stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll be right back with my genius grandson, Joey. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:24 p.m. Pacific time, currently 65 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's on its way down to 47 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in New York City, well, it's 39 degrees and it's mostly cloudy. That's where my granddaughter Riley Logan's at. And if you happen to be in Chicago, Illinois, well, it's 23 degrees and partly cloudy, but I'll tell you what, no clouds above my head right now. I'm here. I couldn't be happier. I'm with my genius grandson, Joey. How we doing, Joe?
We're doing great so far.
Well, you know what? Let's make everybody else do great and make them smile. Let's send the hair up on the back of their necks and chills up and down their spine. Let's talk about the IRS loses. You know what? Here's the first case the IRS lost. Criminal fraud is not tax fraud. An IRS employee who is a compulsive gambler deceived friends into giving him more than $75,000 by saying that he could invest their money for a guaranteed 30% return. Using fake investment statements to convince them that of this fact, he gambled the money away and ultimately pleaded guilty to criminal fraud. Now, the IRS then assessed tax fraud penalties against him for not reporting the $75,000 as income, saying that as an IRS employee, he surely knew that it was taxable to him. He protested with the tax court. This is what the judge said. Tax fraud requires active steps to conceal income from the IRS or otherwise mislead it. Merely underreporting income, as is the case here, is not tax fraud, so the penalties are lifted. You know what? The guy ought to be castigated, castrated, and thrown in jail and the key thrown away. He's getting away with a loophole here. Yeah, I agree too. Anyway, IRS loses. A wife, Joey, escapes $2.8 million of joint tax liabilities on the joint return. Ronald Campbell handled the family finances for his wife Phyllis and aggressively traded commodities, including through accounts that he opened in her name. Now, these made up to $3 million a year, 1 year in profit, but then the markets turned against Ronald and an illegal tax shelter investment that he made, creating a $2.8 million tax bill on their joint return. Now, Phyllis then objected that she had never even seen the account statements mailed to her. She went to court, as what the judge said, imposing a tax liability of more than $2.8 million as a result of a disallowed transaction of which the petitioner had no actual or even constructive knowledge would be extremely inequitable, so she escapes the tax. Now, they're still married, but she doesn't have to pay the tax. He does. And if she's smart, she's doing separate tax returns from now on.
$2.8 million of it?
Yeah. How about this? The IRS loses. They cannot prove the value of a gift that was made 26 years ago. The IRS tried to impose gift tax on shares in a private company that were given to Gordon Davenport by his Aunt Bertie in 1980. Now, it could do so because no gift tax was paid at the time, and the lack of a gift tax return kept the normal 3-year statute of limitations from running. They went to court, is what the judge said. The IRS couldn't prove that the value of the shares in 1980, the stock transactions made after 1980 were inadmissible as to their 1980 value, and a recently found 1979 stipulation of share value made to settle another family member's estate tax case could, under state law, be used only in that case, not in this one decades later. So, the IRS case, guess what? It's dismissed. Well, Joey, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. That's where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS. It's very much like
The Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone. Yeah, well, you know what? While these are not tax court cases, and so you don't have those kind of precedents, the most important commodity anybody ever has is knowledge and information. And so, if these things pertain to you, you can use them to your advantage. Now, here's the one thing you might want to know, and that is the most efficient way to obtain a tax-related criminal conviction. You know, the IRS has figured it out, and it's to charge a violation of non-payment of payroll taxes or fraudulent preparation of payroll tax returns. Small business owners are especially susceptible to being targeted for criminal prosecution, as these businesses often employ workers who are paid off the books in cash and other workers who are arbitrarily treated as independent contractors. Restaurants and contractors employ millions of workers for whom payroll taxes are just not paid. Now, the latest development, large employers are being hit. Now, example, Blackwater Worldwide, which provides security personnel for the United States government in Iraq, is being targeted by Congress for allegedly evading more than, get this, $50 million of payroll taxes. I expect the IRS is not going to be too far behind that information anyway.
That makes the 2.8 million of that one guy sound like nothing.
Yeah, it sure does. Isn't it? And it's only zeros, right? Well, how about this? Examination of offshore bank accounts gets the IRS attention. The IRS has reported that it is investigating more than 100 taxpayers who may be hiding assets in accounts in Liechtenstein. Now, the Liechtenstein Global Trust Bank is the institution that apparently was complicit in money laundering activities of the targeted taxpayers. How this scheme may have worked: instead of getting paid for services or for the sale of property, the account holders arranged to have money deposited into their offshore account. Whoops, let's see. The bank issued then a credit debit card permitting account holders to withdraw cash to make purchases. The investment income earned from those assets was not reported on the tax returns. Well, go figure. Well, you know what? Waiting in the wings is our own Sean LaFave, so if I don't go to a commercial break, he's just liable to hang up on me. But anyway, we're going to be back after these brief messages with my genius grandson, Joey, and Sean LaFave. God only knows what we're going to talk about, but I think we're going to talk about toxic flushing toxicity out of your body. I'm not sure what the hell we're going to talk about, but I can guarantee you this, it's going to be interesting. So don't go away. We'll be right back with my genius grandson, Joey, and Sean LaFave.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean LaFave, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:35 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 65 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, on its way down to 47 degrees. And if you're in Cleveland, Ohio, good Lord, it's 50 degrees and mostly cloudy. But you know what? I can do better than that. If you're unlucky enough to be sitting on the front porch with my good buddy Sean LaFave in Wichita, Kansas, it is 32 degrees. That's colder than hell and partly cloudy. Hey, Sean, you got the microphone, buddy.
You know, it is colder than hell from what I've read about hell.
Hey, you're right. And by the way, you're on with my genius grandson, Joey. Joey's with us today, Sean.
I know. Hi, Joey. I was excited that you're on the show today.
Hi, Mr. LaFave. How are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing awesome, man. How you been?
Good.
So let's talk about being knee deep and cold, because it's not snowing, so it's got to be knee deep and cold, right?
Knee deep in coals?
Cold.
Oh, cold. Oh, yeah. Cold. Yeah, I guess it is. You know, I'm a pretty warm-blooded guy, so 32 degrees to me is. I mean, it's chilly, but like I'll even go outside in a t-shirt when it's only 32.
Sean, I can't help it that you're mentally challenged.
I can't either, unfortunately.
Out here in California, if it's like 60 degrees, we go outside in like parkas.
Oh, I know. We were just talking about that. Yeah, you guys, it gets down to 60, man. Everyone's wearing jackets. And, here in Kansas, it was 66 on Monday, and I was running around in shorts and a t-shirt. I was barefoot, no shoes.
Well, yeah, the only reason you don't get sick is the damn bugs can't survive the cold.
Exactly.
Hey, listen, we were going to talk about toxic something or other today, and I forgot what it was.
Oh, I think it's from everything I've been gathering lately. I think the toxic thing that we need to talk about is the state of California. Oh man, yeah. You mean Governor Moonbeam and his? I've only been gone for a few months. What are you guys doing out there? I mean. UC Berkeley is going crazy. And
wait a minute, they're exercising their freedom of speech or lack thereof, right?
They're exercising their freedom of riot so that they can squash freedom of speech.
Oh, and their right to assembly right, and their right to damage private property and individuals, and we've got a lot of good stuff going on.
There's got to be eventually this. Like a brave soul or just a government funded thing where if there's a riot going on, a group of people, government funded, walk in and just hand out constitutions.
Hey, listen, here's the deal. Trump is mad at Australia. Trump is mad at Mexico. He's mad at Canada. He's mad at everybody else. Why not go into UC Berkeley and just and level them to the ground?
Well, that'd be awesome. I'd not be opposed to that. Just take a bulldozer in there and just keep driving around so there's nothing left but rubble.
Shame on you. What we need
good comes from UC Berkeley anymore.
Maybe with any luck, we can get back to having protests that don't destroy private property and give people the right to protest what they believe is inequities in the way they're being treated.
Yeah, wouldn't that be? Wow, what a concept!
Yeah,
wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yeah, that sounds like it was came up with 260 years ago by a group of geniuses in a room.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, California, man, I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on out there. Like the whole state.
Hey, don't pick on. Don't pick on.
You guys are you guys. I don't even claim that I'm from California anymore. I'm so embarrassed right now. But
hey,
you guys are trying. You guys, this is your state now, Robert. I love California. I was born there and raised there and all that, but man, I'm telling you. So you guys want to secede from the country. Let's start with that one.
Hey, listen, we're not the first ones. Texas was the first one that wanted to do that, and actually Alabama was the first one that wanted to do that. Then Texas, Rick Perry.
What is Alabama going to do on their own?
And then Rick Perry, the governor of Texas, wanted to do it. And then right after that, he wanted to abolish the Department of Energy, which he's now the head of in Washington D.C. And then Governor Moonbeam, I think, has been hit in the head. I don't know what the hell happened to him. God only knows. But he's way up in Northern California, where when he finally gets a mental check, he'll find out that Southern California seceded from Northern California, and we're going to become our own state.
Well, I think let's say Northern California at one point trying to secede just on their own.
Yes.
They can get away from and now the whole state wants to secede. And they're saying, look, we're the sixth largest economy in the world. You know, and they're complaining about all kinds of things. They're saying, look, you know, we can't even affect the outcome of the elections, you know, because half the time the election's already called before California finishes voting, you know, and which actually happened. That was what happened with Gore and Bush.
Yeah.
That was
Florida.
Wrong.
Yeah. Hey, listen, are we going to be talking politics today? Because if we are, I want to start you in the right direction.
Well, we can, yeah. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in California.
You're just righteously pissed off, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I'm just going. I love California, and I just don't.
Wait a minute! Don't give me that. You were just bad mouthing us, sending us into the doldrums. You're a deserter. You're a California deserter.
California needs to be put in time out. They need to go sit in the corner and think about what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't make them a bad person. You know, I still love them, but they need a spanking or something.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about the other coast, where in the White House, in the Oval Office, Donald Trump finally said that he's going to do away with the tax penalties for religious organizations talking about politics.
I think it's fantastic. I don't see why, you know, that should be.
I don't have a problem with the pastors and the leaders of churches talking about their feelings and what's going on, as long as they're not telling their parishioners and their members, if you don't vote this way, get the hell out of my church.
Well, sure, yeah. They're not, that could very well be, but that might end up that way. But I mean, churches allow so many other crazy things. I can't imagine they keep people out for voting one way or another. Who knows?
Sean, let's be honest.
This last election, I wouldn't put anything past anybody.
Yeah, Sean, let's be honest. The church has been doing that for years, and they have never enforced that policy anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of policies of the church that doesn't enforce. I mean, there's a lot of things. You know, if you live a life of sin, you know, quote unquote sin, you know, that you're unrepentant, the church is supposed to actually kick you out. They're not supposed to.
Well, hell, man, if you don't live a life of sin, what the hell do you need the church for anyway?
Right, exactly, right? That's like.
They tell you you're all sinners.
Yeah.
Yeah, once no one, a healthy person doesn't need a doctor. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's like, sorry, you can't come here unless you're healthy.
Yeah.
But you're a doctor. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works.
Yeah, if I have no faults and I have no sin, I sure as hell don't need you. Don't let me in.
Right. Yeah. No. So I don't have a problem with them. You know, I with them taking away that stipulation. I guess removing that. You know, let them speak their minds. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's healthy. You know, but again, the separation of church and state is just that the religion doesn't run the state, you know, so that's something that we can't.
You know what, Sean? Corporations don't lose their corporate status because they pick one candidate over another, or if they donate to one candidate over another. I don't know why churches should be exempted from the same privileges that other businesses have.
Right. No, I exactly. I mean, because a lot of things, of course, they go and say, well, they're tax free. Of course, they're tax free, but corporate businesses get a lot of tax write-offs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that they don't pay taxes. They get all kinds of discounts when it comes to taxes for all kinds of things, but they still, you have, Starbucks out there going, oh, well, we're going to hire 10,000 refugees, or 100,000 refugees or whatever they said. Mm-hmm. It's like, why didn't you just try to hire, Americans who need the job? Why do you have to, but no one's
I'm going to hire 100,000 refugees and have them stand at the Syrian border shooting back at the people that are shooting the innocent refugees.
Yeah. That would be a great idea. I was watching, man, we are all over the map today. I was watching this video today.
Wait a minute. Did you watch the video that I asked you to watch?
Oh, gosh, I didn't. You need to email it to me again.
See, I watched that video that you sent me. I watched all 3 of those videos you sent me. I did what I was asked to do. And you're telling me that you have not seen this becoming Warren Buffett yet?
Oh, so good.
Oh, no, we actually, you know what? No, I tried to watch it. It wasn't on, we couldn't find it on Netflix or anything. I actually did attempt to watch it, but, I gotta figure out where I can get it.
It's on HBO.
Find it on.
It's on HBO. Just do HBO on demand.
Yeah. I don't think we have HBO here. Do you?
You don't. Wait a minute. Wichita, Kansas does not have HBO.
No, I mean, not in this house. I don't think we have HBO. We have HBO in Kansas.
Well, you know what?
We even have indoor plumbing here in Kansas.
Just sign up for HBO, watch Becoming Warren Buffett, and then cancel the HBO saying it wasn't worth it.
Okay, that works. I can do that. All right. I'll figure it out. Can you do HBO on demand? Do you have to have HBO, or can you do HBO on demand without it?
It logs in based on a previous HBO account. So you do have to have HBO to have HBO Go or HBO Now.
Great. Well, I guess I'll have to get HBO or go to. I'm sure I must have a friend who's got HBO.
But it must be somewhere. It must be somewhere besides HBO, Joey. You know what? Instead of Netflix, try YouTube or try Amazon.
Okay. I think we tried Amazon. I don't think it was on Amazon either. But
it's a fairly recent documentary. It's going to be nowhere but HBO. Maybe YouTube if someone did, uploaded it.
Yeah, a lot of times YouTube will have those things, but there'll be like someone who recorded it with a camera pointed at the TV or something weird like that. But I'll look and see if I can find it. If I can't, I'll find a friend who's got HBO. I can go over there.
All right, so I'm going to cut you some slack. What the hell was the video that you watched that I didn't ask you to watch?
So this video was only a few minutes long, so it wasn't like a whole movie. But it was this guy this guy's huge. It looks like he's a football lineman. He's a big guy, but he was over in Iraq. And he said, he was talking about the ban on the refugees, or they basically come here from any of those southern countries, but also on, the refugees as well. And he's saying, look, I was just having a conversation with some of the guys that I work with here. And he goes, and I asked these guys, said, what would happen to me if I went downtown by myself as an American right now? And he goes, they didn't even hesitate. They said within an hour you would be, they would capture you and you would be taken, you'd be kidnapped, and they would take you somewhere where they would torture you and eventually cut your head off.
Oh, hang on. I think we need to go back. I must have missed something. This video pertains to what again?
We kind of grazed on the topic of the refugees. We were talking about the refugees.
Are you talking specifically about Syria, or are we talking about Mexico, or are we talking?
This guy's in Iraq.
He's in Iraq.
Okay, yeah, this guy is in Iraq. He's working in Iraq, he asked the guys. He said, "What would happen?" And they said, if you went downtown here in Iraq. And he goes, this isn't ISIS that would do it to you, it's the locals. And he goes, they would do that to us in their own country, given the chance. Why do you want them coming to the United States? He goes, these are people, this isn't ISIS, this is the general population. He goes, I would not survive going downtown as an American, without, being protected by the military or something like that. He goes, it would just, not everybody in the general population, but there's enough people in the general population who would do that. He goes, and you want to open up the borders and let them come in the United States. There are people who would love to do that to an American, given the opportunity, no matter where they are. And I just found it very interesting. It was a kind of an interesting little video to watch, because this guy's like, look, he goes, I'm stuck here. He goes, I can't go out by myself because I'd be dead.
Well, if you're making the case for this ban that Trump put out there, the truth is that I actually support it. If this country is everything that I believe it is, if this country is everything that everybody has espoused that it is, then it shouldn't be easy to get into.
No, it shouldn't be easy. No country's easy to get into. In fact, I was talking to a guy. This is, I don't know, some summer of last year or something like that, and he is he runs basically a chiropractic organization in Europe, right? Mm-hmm. And it's basically kind of like think of the National Chiropractic Association or something along those lines. And so I asked him, I said, hey, if I wanted to go to Spain and go work at a chiropractor's office doing what I do here in the United States, what would I have to do to make that happen? What kind of visas would I need to get, or, how would I apply? He goes, unless your parents or your grandparents are natural-born European citizens. He goes, or you married someone from Europe, because it would be almost impossible. I mean, you told me I can't go there for more than 3 months. He's like, no. He goes, you couldn't get a job there. He goes, unless you have something absolutely, significant to contribute to society that couldn't be found in our own country. He goes, you couldn't. They would never give you a job there. You would have to marry someone or have family, like your parents or grandparents be from there. And I'm thinking, why do people expect our country to be any different?
Yeah.
Every country is like that. It's not just the United States. Canada is the same way. Mexico has a wall up between them and Guatemala. Every country.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, and a lot of people may not be, that if you want to move to New Zealand and you want to permanently, and you want to open you're going to be required to open a business that employs no less than 10 New Zealand citizens. If you can't do that, stay the hell away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not easy to get in. And so, I don't know why our country should be any different. And I do like the fact that, Trump, he did this, and I think it's good that he's protecting us. But he also spoke with the king of Saudi Arabia and said, look, let's put some safe zones up for these people right now. Let's protect them right there in their own homeland. They don't want to come to the United States or go to Germany or go to France or Sweden. They want to stay home. That's their home.
They're scared. They don't want to leave their home. They're just scared to death, and they need to be made safe while there's some resolution that's brought about here. So if we just take Assad and cut him in half, and put half of his body in an alligator pit and the other half in a crocodile pit, and then make sure that no other dictator anywhere even similar to him takes power there, then those people can go back to their homes.
That's a very creative way of solving that problem, Robert.
Yeah,
I like it.
Absolutely. Just feed them to the gators. And you know what? Here's the other thing. The big problem is that the cities that these people lived in exist no more. They've been demolished. Who's going to rebuild those cities? The United States is not going to do it. Russia's not going to do it. Assad's not going to do it. They're not going to rebuild those cities.
Yeah.
Where are those people going to...
Terrible situation.
Yeah, where are those people going to go back to?
Right, yeah, they're going to have to start over from nothing.
Yeah.
Literally rebuild their country. But you're right. It's not like after World War II when, we went and rebuilt Japan and we helped rebuild Germany and, we did all these things. That's not going to happen there. There's nobody, they don't have anybody to blame but themselves. It's a civil war. I don't even know if it's even technically a civil war, if it's more of a rebellion, or I don't know what to call it. It's kind of a strange.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's probably going to happen. Trump is going to tell them, we're going to get rid of Assad. We're going to rebuild your city, and I'm keeping your oil, by the way. That's how I'm paying for the city. And then one day we're going to turn around and we're going to look just like the Roman Empire. We're going to occupy everything.
Exactly. But I don't have a problem with that. Except California. Apparently we're not going to occupy California anymore. California. California.
By the way, I'm not serious about supporting that activity, by the way.
I'm not either.
Just in case somebody's loading their gun, right?
I just think it'd make it easier for international travel if we just occupied, most of the good countries.
Yeah.
But yeah,
here's the deal. If we occupied,
Sean, distracting me, and I'm going to come back to California.
Sean, if we occupied all of those countries, it would no longer be international travel. It would be national travel because we own it.
Okay, that's true. It would be national. It would make, what do they call it? Cross-continent or across transcontinental travel, I guess, would be the word I want to use.
Yeah.
But,
hey, let's talk about California.
So, if California does leave, which it's not going to happen.
Oh, come on. Now, you don't really think that's going to happen, do you?
But, no, of course I don't think it happened. But you know what would be great if it did? You can pretty much be sure that we're not going to get another Democrat president for about 30 or 40 years.
Well, you know what? If it did, maybe we would get somebody in the legislature that would be pro-business, that would keep the economy going in the right direction.
then that would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Instead of making it impossible for businesses to survive in the California environment, maybe make it so that you nurture them so that they absolutely thrive. Wouldn't that be unique?
Wouldn't that be a novel idea?
Yeah.
I wonder who would do that.
Yeah. That's what we need to have. That's what we need to have. So we got 1 minute, my friend. What do you want to talk about for 1 minute?
I want to keep talking about California.
Okay, can you solve the California problem in 1 minute? Because if you can't solve the California problem in 1 minute, I'm going to start talking about Wichita, Kansas.
Man, that's not going to take long. You know what? Wichita. I will say one thing. You know that it's we'll come back. We'll talk about construction. They say it's going to take 2 years to build that wall in for the Mexican border wall. We got a road that goes through Wichita called Kellogg. It's the US 54 Highway 54. It's been under construction since before I moved here.
That's because you're using Mexican labor, for God's sake.
That was almost 20 years ago. And I'm going, we can't even complete a road in 20 years that's only 15 miles long in Wichita, Kansas. But these guys are going to put a wall up in 2 years? I'm like, we need better construction workers in the city of Wichita. When we come back, we'll start talking about detox, because nobody wants to hear me talk about California anymore.
Okay. We're talking to our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. We're talking to my genius, or trying to talk to my genius grandson, Joey. Joey just went silent in there. What happened, Joe?
I had nothing to say.
Oh, okay. Joey thinks we're both full of something. Anyway, we'll be right back with Sean LaFave in his Geared for Wellness Corner. What the hell with it? We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's 65 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, you lucky dog. It's 48 degrees and it's overcast. And if you're in Rome, Italy, it's 55 degrees and mostly cloudy. And if you happen to be in Upland, California, where our studio is, then you're really lucky because you're sitting here with your favorite grandson, the genius Joey. Hey, Joey, how you doing today?
Good.
So should we let Sean on?
Yeah.
Okay, Sean, you got the microphone, buddy.
This is why I like Joey. He's accepting. You're a good guy, Joey. You're better than your grandpa.
Well, get ready.
You're a lot nicer to me, Joey.
Get ready, because Joey says he's going to ask lots of questions.
All right. So, what do we were going to talk about detox.
Yes.
It's funny. I get all these. I get tons of questions when I tell people I do detox, and of course, some people think of alcohol and drug detox. I think Betty Ford clinic type stuff. But obviously, I don't do that. But it's funny, the misconceptions. People think of they think of colon cleanses and liver cleanses and juicing and all these different things, and it's interesting. When the body detoxes, I know we've talked about this before, but there are times when I even get fascinated by it, even though I've been doing this for, over a decade now. And it's just really neat to think, when our body, we get these toxins that come in and they bind to different parts of our body. Sometimes they'll get in the softest, like the fatty tissues, or they'll, adhere to the bone, or, they'll get inside the brain and they get it down actually all the way into the cell itself. And that's where when we've got to detox someone, that's where you got to go in and get the detox done, is when it's in the cell. And then you got to go in, especially if it's like heavy metals or something, get it out of the brain. Even glyphosate, something like that could be in the brain as well.
So let me interrupt you for just a second, because when you're kind of lumping all this stuff together. When you're talking about detoxing the colon, you're talking about a procedure totally different than that you would use to detox your liver or your brain, right?
Right, yeah. So like people will do a colon cleanse. I mean, literally it's like a flush, if you will. You might drink something or take something orally that's going to go through your system, and it's going to flush out your colon. So you're flushing all the, whatever's in your colon. I mean, it's all filled as, poop, but that of course is, things do get impacted in there. People do, colonics, where they literally, you can do an enema, you can do a colonic where they actually go in with a hose and kind of hose it out from the back end. And those are great. They're actually very beneficial. They have a lot of benefits,
doesn't sound great to me. It sounds like a real pain in the...
It's a real pain in the backside. So yeah, they're not a lot of fun, but they do have their benefits. But the problem is you're still toxic. You got all that stuff out, because all those toxins in your body, they've got to go into the gut. When your body detoxes, that's where it dumps them into the gut. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, you clean that out once in a while. And some people even feel better for a short while, but then whatever was bugging them before is usually going to come back. And so, some people will do a liver cleanse, and really the liver is designed, there's no such thing as really a liver cleanse per se. You can't actually do anything to flush the liver out.
How about a bottle of cognac?
A bottle of cognac is fantastic, but probably not going to cleanse the liver. So, but it'll definitely get the liver cranking up. It'll get it working for sure. And there aren't many better ways than a good bottle of cognac to stimulate the liver function. But yeah, these people will take these products to support liver function, to, maybe even they'll do like a juicing thing, because they say I'm doing a liver cleanse. What you're doing is you're just stopping yourself from putting more toxins into your body, so that your liver doesn't have to deal with them, so it can kind of really refresh itself. It can.
Okay, take a breath. So what you're saying is that if you do juices, are you talking about going to the store and buying juices, or you're talking about using a juicing machine and using natural juices? But that's the kind of juices you're talking about, right? To cleanse the liver?
Yeah. You can either take fruits and vegetables and juice them yourself at home with a juicer, or obviously you don't want to buy like juice from like orange juice that's got sugar and stuff added to it. Yeah. You can get good wholesome natural juices, and those are fine. Like people use cranberry juice. If you can get cranberry juice that's not sweet, for like things like a urinary tract infection, and it works great. I tell people who have a urinary tract infection, go get it's not yummy at all, but you can actually get cranberry juice concentrate, where it's like basically kind of dehydrated, so it's thicker, it's a concentration, and normally you would mix that with water and probably put some sugar in it to make a delicious drink, but you can just drink that concentrate straight, and it's very tart, but man, that'll clear up a urinary tract infection in no time.
Someone needs to make like a tally count of how many times the word juice was used in the last couple sentences.
Well, you know what, Sean? Why is it that cranberry juice or cranberry concentrate bypasses everything else and goes right to the urinary tract? I mean, is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I just know it works. I don't know what exactly I don't know the mechanical process behind it. I really don't. And it's not something I ever even spent a second trying to figure out why. I just know it works, so that's good enough for me.
Because I'm guessing that what you're saying is there's some other juice that detoxifies or cleanses the liver, and so because if I'm guessing that the cranberry concentrate doesn't do anything for your liver.
No, I'm sure it's going to help your liver, but it doesn't. I don't know if there's anything specific to cranberry that's going to, help move things along in the liver. Like some things will work better. I'm trying to think of something you would juice that would be good for your liver. Cucumber is probably good. Celery would be good.
Why is that? Why do
beets are actually really good for your liver? What's that?
Why is it that some things just go straight to your kidneys and other things pass through the liver? When I drink, we were talking about cognac, just joking around, and that cognac, does it go to the liver before it gets to the kidneys, or do some things go straight to the kidneys? How actually do those internal organs function?
I believe that, like when you take in alcohol, or even like say, when you eat fruit, for instance, that's got fructose in it, your body can't utilize fructose. So it's got to be processed through the liver and converted into glucose so that your body can use it as an energy source.
So not everything goes through the liver?
I don't think everything. No, like if you eat like table sugar, now it will be processed by the liver, but in a different way. But it doesn't need to be processed through the liver in order to be utilized for energy. Glucose doesn't, because it's glucose. It's already the energy source that we need. But things like alcohol, one of the first places it's going to go is through the liver, so that the liver can break down the alcohol.
So the brain or the body or some function of the body directs these things like a traffic cop into the right direction.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The body knows where it needs to put stuff. And there's a condition out there, talking about the liver specifically. The liver has to do all these, it uses all these enzymes, and there's even viruses and bacteria involved, and there's nutrition, like say your B vitamins. There's a condition out there called lactic acidosis, and when a person is stuck in a lactic acidosis cycle, what's happening is their liver has depleted the B vitamins, or the body in general has depleted its store of B vitamins, and to break down the sugar in the when you burn sugar, you produce lactic acid, and to break down the lactic acid to be excreted from the body needs vitamin Bs. It needs a lot of vitamin Bs. Well, if there's a vitamin B deficiency, the liver will actually take that lactic acid and reconvert it back into sugar now, and now you get stuck in this loop, and it's called lactic acidosis. and so now things are being processed over and over to the liver, and it actually creates all kinds of problems.
Now, were you saying vitamin B like in boy or vitamin D like in dog?
B as in boy.
Okay.
So like, your B12, B16, there's actually 24 different B vitamins out there. And we need all 24 of them, to function properly. And that's why it's important. You ask about, certain foods affect the body in a different way. Some foods will have certain vitamins in them. They may be high in vitamin C, or they might have some of the B vitamins, but not all of them. And so another food might have all, some of the other B vitamins that you're missing, or, something might have, whatever, CoQ10 or all these different things. So, it's good to eat a variety of foods for that very reason. There's things, I was just on a call today. We were talking about, a thing called CBD oil. And, talking about detox, CBD oil is when you have hemp, it's high in CBD oil and very low in THC, where marijuana is high in THC and lower in CBD oil. And so you can actually, CBD oil is legal to use. You can't grow, it's really weird. There's only certain places where they can grow hemp, and they'll take the hemp and they'll process the CBD oil out of it, and then they can sell that. So like I could go down and buy CBD oil to use to treat all kinds of things, and it's really great.
Is hemp marijuana?
It's a cannabis. So it's the same family, but it is not the same as, because like you can't get a high. You could take hemp and you could smoke it all day long and you're not going to get a high from it like you do from marijuana. Marijuana has the THC, and both of them we have in our body what's called the endocannabinoid system. And basically we have these cannabinoid receptors. So we actually are meant to take in the products that you get from cannabis, from the marijuana and the hemp plant. It's actually something that's good for us. It used to be the stuff would grow wild. The animals would eat it. We would kill the animal, eat the animal. The animals got it in their system, and then we would get it through the meat that we would eat or something like that. And of course, we've restricted it so severely here in this country that we actually have people who have a cannabinoid deficiency. And we actually, you can take a person who's very sick and they got all kinds of symptoms, and you can put them on this CBD oil. Basically, they're getting the cannabinoids they need, and their life turns around. And you can get people who are very sick. In fact, I've got a friend of mine in California who just called me up and said, I've got breast cancer. And I said, well, let's do everything we can. We're going to beat this. And I texted her today. I was like, I don't know why I didn't think of this right away. I texted her. I said, go down and get yourself a prescription for medical marijuana. It'd be easy to get. You've got cancer. And, you're in California. It's totally legal, and it will do you wonders. She says she's there for whatever reason. They've got a few weeks before they're going to do any type of chemo. So I said, well, let's do everything we can. Let's see if we can get this thing going in the right direction. Maybe you won't even need chemo 3 or 4 weeks from now. So there's a lot of health benefits. So, I know that we're talking about detox and we're really kind of all over the place. Yeah. But this still kind of plays into it is,
and I apologize because we're going all over the place, but when you start talking about some of these things, it starts bringing up lots of questions because, most of the listeners don't understand how, including me, how the human body really functions. And it's mesmerizing to think that, hey, something is deciding that it's going to go through the kidney, it's going to go through the liver, it's going to go through the pancreas, it's going to go through the brain, it's going to go into the blood system. Go ahead. Joe. You
mentioned the brain.
Yeah.
Earlier, you said that the brain can get toxic like this. So, how do you detox a brain? Because I think it's a pretty safe assumption that you can't juice a brain.
Yeah, you can't juice a brain. There's some brains I would probably like to juice, but no, you can't juice a brain. But that's an excellent question. That's actually probably the most important question you could ask when it comes to detox is how do you detox a brain? And there's a lot of methods out there, and some of them are very effective, and some of them are maybe even effective, but also can lead to bigger problems. As a matter of fact, I had, and I'm not going to answer your question, but through what I do, I answer questions on this chat room that's my Detox Challenge website, and so people who are doing this detox program that I run, you know, they write in with their questions, and I answer all these questions. And one person called in, and actually I ended up talking to this person over email and then over the phone, and they were doing a program, and it's not a bad program. It's called Quicksilver. But she decided she was going to do it on her own. You're only supposed to get it through a physician. Somehow she was able to get the products on her own, and all of a sudden one day she couldn't walk anymore. She ended up in a wheelchair, and then she started getting slurred speech, and finally came to us and said, "What do I do?" And we're like, "Well, first of all, you need to do this the right way. You've done it the wrong way now. You've done a lot of damage. This isn't irreversible, but you've tried to detox a part of your body that you need to detox, but you did it too soon." And so when you're detoxing the brain, there's products out there like alpha lipoic acid, for instance. It's a nutrient that is found in foods, and you can get it in pill form, and people use it for a lot of things. Even like athletes will use it for performance, you know, to kind of, you know, just all these, all the different little pieces of nutrition that they put together. And alpha lipoic acid is fine. It's a good product, but one of the things that it can do that's great about it is the brain, because it's such an important organ, has an extra protective barrier around the blood vessels that go to the brain. It's called the blood-brain barrier. And normally, like I could get certain toxins or certain elements that can go and get into my cells. They can get into my fatty tissues. They can get into a lot of places. They can get into the nerves and on, but they can't get to the brain because the blood-brain barrier protects. It has these tight junctions that protects it from these invaders. But some things are small enough and light enough they can get through. Alpha lipoic acid is one of those. Now, alpha lipoic acid also has a really interesting capacity to be able to bind to heavy metals. The problem, though, is it'll bind to heavy metals, but then sometimes it'll drop them as it's carrying them along. And this becomes problematic because if you use alpha lipoic acid to detox your brain, but you haven't detoxed the body first, the alpha lipoic acid might pick up a piece of heavy metal, mercury, lead, whatever, in your body, cross into the blood-brain barrier, get inside the brain, boom, drop the metal, and then leave. And now you just made the problem worse. And that's probably what happened to this woman, was she did something similar to that. And so, you know, we use alpha lipoic acid. We have a product called Cyto Detox, which is a clinoptilolite.
So is there a street name that's easy for people? I mean, some of these $5 names are something that people can't pronounce, much less spell or write down.
Yeah, you know, there isn't, unfortunately. Like I said, the street name for that clinoptilolite is called Cyto Detox. That's the name. Cyto as in cell, and then detox for detoxing the cell. But a clinoptilolite is actually a form of what's called a zeolite. And zeolites are used as a binding agency for a lot of things. They use them for oil spills and, you know, industrial waste cleanup and on and on. And
wait a minute. And people are putting this in their bodies?
Yeah, well, because it's good. It binds the toxins. It's
It controls oil spills and acid spills. And hey, you know what? Let's give this some thought. Let's give this some thought and come back after this commercial message and explain how that's good for your body. Because that sounds that sounds more scary than our president, our current president in the White House.
Trust me. I'll explain it. You'll love Trump parts on done.
Okay. We'll be right back with my genius grandson, Joey, and Sean LaFave in his Geared for Wellness Corner after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:23 p.m. Pacific time. It's still 64 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in London, England, well, it's 50 degrees and it's overcast. And if you're in Vienna, Austria, listen to our show, it's 30 degrees and it's foggy. But you know what? No fog over the head of my genius grandson, Joey, or my fantastic friend, Sean LaFave. Hey, Joey, how are we doing so far here?
Great. I have a lot more questions.
Okay, great. Sean, you're on the microphone, and Joey's got a lot more questions.
All right. So I'm supposed to convince you that something that is used to contain oil spills is okay to put in the human body.
Oh yeah, I'm going back. I'm back at cognac, man.
Which probably does sound crazier than Trump in the White House, but it'll be a whole lot easier to explain. That's for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you took the words right out of my mouth.
So, zeolite. Now, this is a clinopsilolite, which is a form of a zeolite. Zeolite is actually a Greek word, and it means, or comes from the Greek words meaning boil, as in like boil water, stone. So basically like a stone, like a rock. So it literally means boiled stone. And what they do is they actually literally through a hydrolyzation process. They used to actually boil the stone, but now they have it's a slightly different hydrolyzation process. It breaks down the stone into these tiny fragments, and this particular type of mineral, this type of rock, has an affinity for binding to different metals or different toxins or different, like things like oil and so on. And so what you've got is this you're down into like these, the size and weight. You're talking angstroms and little stuff that's incredibly small, but it can cross into the cell, cross into the blood-brain barrier. Tiny pieces. And what happens is they when they add it to the process of breaking it down, it actually removes. Not only gets it down to the size that it needs to be and the weight that it needs to be, but it also removes what toxic metals were contained in it, like lead and mercury and aluminum and all these different things. Usually, and this one actually does already contain aluminum, but it's so tightly bound to it that it's not going to let go.
So, Sean, is this a long process? I mean, is this something that it happens in overnight? It happens in a week. It happens in a month. It happens in a year. How long does it take?
The hydrolyzation process?
Yeah.
Well, it took years for them to figure out how to do it. How long from the time you take raw material to where you've got this zeolite product? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can ask though. I can certainly find out. I don't know how long it takes to treat this. I would imagine it's probably something in the tune of days, a few days. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to find out because now I'm curious. I never even stopped to ask that question. How long does it take to make this stuff? But so what you've got is you've got this inert product now that is neither good nor bad for your body, but it has no place in your body to rest, and so it's just going to float around until your body gets rid of it. But the cool thing about it is that it loves to hold on to binding, like solidly binds to things like heavy metals and even glyphosate. It'll bind to glyphosate really well and other toxins. So you just and it's just suspended in water. It's just like you can't even tell that there's anything. It's just like really it tastes and feels like you're just putting a few drops of water in your mouth, and so then your body absorbs it and it goes through the body and it'll run its course, and some of it'll get in the brain, some of it won't, and that's okay, and then eventually it'll all come out through your urine or maybe even into your feces. And you poop it out or you pee it out, and it's totally inert. It has no effect on the human body. It doesn't resemble anything that the human body needs or wants, and so the body doesn't bind to it. It eventually lets it go, and so it's cool. And then it takes out toxins along the way with it, and so what you've got to do is even that product. You still have to make sure that you support the detox pathways. Now, I do believe in supporting liver function, and I do believe in supporting kidney function, and of course, you've got to support the gut. But doing that alone is not going to detox you. You've still got to go, as we call it, up a stream farther. And so this is kind of the analogy. I think I've used this before on the show, but it's like most people aren't really concerned about the landfill out on the edge of town where all the trash goes. And really they're probably not even concerned. Let's say you live in an apartment, you're not even really all that concerned about the dumpster, unless it gets so full that it starts, dropping trash into the parking lot. But everybody's concerned about the trash in the kitchen. And that's what we really want to get out, is this trash that's in the kitchen. Well, if you don't have a dumpster or you don't have trash receptacles to take out to the street for the waste, for the trash truck to pick up, what do you do with your trash? Well, you're just going to go take it and dump it in your neighbor's yard or throw it in the field somewhere, and you're just going to basically redistribute that trash in a different area and just create another problem somewhere else. So we obviously need to, before we take the trash out, we need to make sure we have either, trash receptacles in front of the house for the trash man to pick up, or a dumpster outside of our apartment or whatever. And then, of course, once that's there, the trash collector comes and he fills his truck up with these, the trash in the dumpster. Well, he's got to take it somewhere, and if we don't have landfills, well, then he's going to go take it to another town or another, farmer's field. Again, the trash is just going to get redistributed somewhere else and create another problem for someone else. So before you do anything else, the most important part that you got to do, even though this isn't the part you really care about, is you got to make a landfill. And then you got to get a removal system. You got to get your trash trucks and your dumpsters and trash cans. And then you worry about, then you build the house and put the trash can in it. So you've got to have all this support system. So when we address detox, the first thing that we address is liver function, kidney function, and your gut, which is why people love doing liver cleanses and they love doing, colon cleanses, because they think that that's, that to them, that's the equivalent of the landfill. And they think that that's, getting the toxins out, because that's where the trash, the toxins in our body is eventually going to end up. And that's great. But then you've got to go further upstream. You've got to go into the cell. You've got to go into the fatty tissues where it's redistributed through the body, and you've got to get it out of there. And once you get it out of the body, then you go into the brain and you start pulling it out of the brain. So because the last thing you want to do is try to detox a brain that's attached to a toxic body, because now you're just redistributing toxins from the body up into the brain.
So is there so there's a priority here? It's the last place you detox is the brain, because that's the last place that it winds up. You get rid of the all of the progression, and then you finally get rid of the dump site.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. Because you've got to basically open up those detox pathways. When something's clogged, if you've got a clogged pipe, you can sit there and just keep scooping stuff out of one end, but once you go to the other end where the clog is and break the clog. And so that's kind of what you're doing when you're detoxing the body. Is you're getting the detox pathways opened up basically in reverse order, so that when you go up to the very top, like, as I say, upstream, if you've got a lake that's toxic because the river's, pouring toxins into it, you can drain the river all day long, but it's going to continue because there's a factory, 10 miles up the river that's dumping toxins into the river, and it's settling in the lake. Well, what you got to do is you've got to go in and you've got to, not only clean the river up, but you've got to go in and eventually clean up. You got to stop the toxic exposure from the upstream factory. So you've got to kind of work in reverse order when it comes to detoxing the human body. You've got to support the systems that allow you to detox before you try to get to the really important detox, which is going into the cell and especially into the brain. And so, so Joey, we once we've got the body cleansed, then we use the alpha lipoic acid, which is a nutrient. It's available to us on a lot of things, but we use it in a pill form. There's that zeolite that I just got done talking about, that clinoptilolite that's used. It'll pull across the blood-brain barrier. We used to use a product called DMSA. That's really easy to say, but it stands for dimercaprosuccinic acid. And that's another product that was great at pulling heavy metals, but it didn't cross in the blood-brain barrier very well, so we had to use alpha lipoic acid with it. So you use all these different agencies to pull stuff out of the brain, and eventually, and you'll see it'll change people's lives. Like this woman here that I was just talking about. So what
is the physiological effect of pulling all that stuff out?
Oh, well, when you've got all that stuff in your brain is affecting your neurological system. I mean, we're talking everything from there's a direct link. They made a link between Alzheimer's or dementia in general and aluminum decades ago, and now they're saying lead, and then eventually they went on to say mercury as well. And so you remove those metals from your brain, you're preventing Alzheimer's. Parkinson's is hugely connected to pesticides, heavy metals as well, but especially pesticides. People who work directly with pesticides have a much higher Parkinson's rate than the general population.
Okay, so I'm going to throw you a curve again, because it just drives me nuts that we're talking about. We have all of these indicators and causes of Parkinson's and all these things going on. Why in the heck aren't physicians, if they know this, identifying this and doing something about it, if that's what the cause is, and using this detoxification to stop this at the corner?
Yeah, because there's a lot more money in treating a person who has Parkinson's than there is in preventing Parkinson's. Is the only answer I could possibly
It's a numbers
come
game.
up with.
It's a dollar number game.
Yeah, it's the same reason why the CDC would hide the results of a study that shows that there's a connection between a MMR shot and autism, because of the backlash from it. It's all a numbers game. It's all about money. I mean, that's the only answer that makes any sense at all, because it's not like the natural healthcare world is coming up with these ideas. We're just going, look, the medical system has already told us, look, these are the causes of these diseases. We know that heavy metals create all kinds of problems in the body. And I mean, even I've read in medical literature we know we've talked about this before too, but I just love this example, that it takes 17 micrograms of lead in your brain to reduce your IQ by 10 points. And of course I don't know what 17 micrograms looks like. So I did the math one time, and if you take a dime and you divide it into 149,000 equal parts, one of those parts will weigh 17 micrograms.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so that's how tiny of a speck of lead it takes to reduce your IQ by 10 points. So this is something that comes from a medical journal. So we know that it creates, everything from, psychosis. That's a study that we talked about. I know this was quite a while ago, but, the connection that they made between lead and violent crimes, lead toxicity, and how the people who are toxic with lead tend to be more prone to violent crimes. And so we know that that's a cause. So there's a lot of things. So when you say, well, what could possibly happen if we leave it there? Everything from violence to suicide to Alzheimer's to autism. I mean, you name it. There's an unlimited amount. I mean, ticks, just people, with like nervous ticks, you see like twitchy eyes, or maybe they get these little nervous ticks or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's heavy metals.
Oh, really?
It's toxicity.
And so why is it, and we've only got, 20, 30 seconds here, why is it that physicians who are treating people with ticks aren't recognizing that it's caused by heavy metals and detoxifying those metals from the patients?
I think a lot of them, when it comes to the medical community, they just flat don't know, because they're just not taught to them. And they've been told for decades now that, these chiropractors, these, herbalists, all these people working in natural health care, they're a bunch of quacks, they're freaks, they don't know what they're doing, they're just making up stuff. And this is real medicine. You're a real doctor and you're using real medicine, and this is what we're going to teach you. And they're not taught that, if you can detox someone for heavy metals, you can fix a lot of these problems.
So is that an exorbitantly expensive process to go through? Because there's so many people that have these tics.
Yeah, no, it's not an expensive process at all. I can tell you, probably the average person that I work with spends maybe, over the course of a year, I don't know, $3,000-$4,000.
And then how long before they begin to see results?
Usually, and that's my biggest problem, believe it or not, is usually the results they start seeing within 3 months. Then they start feeling better, and they think they're fine, and then they leave. They quit. That's all.
This is an ongoing modality, so we're talking about $250 a month for the rest of your life.
No, maybe for a year or two.
Oh, okay. And then, wow. Well, you know what? I want to talk more to you about that. Let's try and talk some more about. I'd love to talk to you more about that. I've got some friends that have issues like that, and maybe next Tuesday we can talk some more about that. Can we?
And I'll find out. We'll talk about this more on Tuesday, and I'll send you some articles that you can read beforehand.
That sounds great. Hey, Sean, as usual, it's been a fascinating visit with you. Have a terrific weekend. Have a safe weekend. Make everybody around you happy, and enjoy anything.
It was really nice talking to you. I learned a lot.
What was that?
It was really nice talking to you. He learned a lot. Oh,
well, good. I love having you around. I wish we could have interacted a little bit more, but you got to let me know next time you're going to be on. I look forward to it.
All right. Hey, Sean, you have a terrific weekend and stay safe, my friend. You provided another exceptional show.
It was fun. Thanks, Bob.
All righty. You take care. Now, the rest of you folks stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to be doing the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, interesting but useless facts. And then, of course, after that, we're going to be doing our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey in the rest of the story. Today's story is Dreams of Ivy Island. That'll be presented by my grandson, Joey. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:43 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 64 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Madrid, Spain, well, it's 45 degrees and clear. And if you're in Tokyo, Japan, listening to our show, it is 46 degrees and clear. But right now, what I want you to do is I want you to hear about the lifestyle tip of the day and the interesting but useless facts, and we'll be doing the birthdays of the day today too with my genius grandson Joey. Joey, you got the microphone, you handle it.
Okay. So we're going to start with the lifestyle tip of the day. We are one. We are all connected, and we are all part of one energy field, or the one supreme mind, or the one consciousness, or the one creative source. Call it whatever you want, but we are all one. And now the birthdays for today?
Well, before we do that, Joe, let's remind everybody that the lifestyle tip of the day is the fact it's all about a positive mental attitude. You really, really do control everything that goes on in your mind. You decide if you're going to be happy, sad, a success, failure, rich or poor, how people around you are going to respond to you. You do it every morning when you get up in the morning. You look in the mirror and you say, wow, I'm going to have a fantastic, productive, profitable day. You decide what's going to happen. Now, everybody knows what the day it is today, don't they?
Somebody's birthday.
It's somebody's birthday.
Okay, so it's Thursday, February 2nd, and we have 4 birthdays today. Everyone is still alive. The first one was born in 1947. They are an actress and culture figure whose hair was emulated by millions of young women. Happy birthday, Farrah Fawcett. This next one was born 1954, model best known for her 3 appearances on the cover of the Sports Illustrated. Happy birthday, Christy Brinkley. And this next one was born in 1977, singer, songwriter, musician, record producer, dancer, and philanthropist. Happy birthday, Shakira. Also, probably the biggest birthday here. Happy birthday, India.
India? The country, or is that a person?
It looks like the country.
Wow. Okay. So what do we got up next here? We got what's happened today in history, Joe?
Today in history, February 2nd, 1933, Adolf Hitler dissolves the German parliament. Today, February 2nd, 1974, the F-16 flies for the first time. In 1989, the Soviet war in Afghanistan, the last Soviet Union armored column leaves Kabul. And 1990, apartheid. F.W. de Klerk allows the African National Congress to function legally and promises to release Nelson Mandela.
When you're in school, do they teach you anything about apartheid?
Not yet, but we're not doing any civil rights. We're really in the 1800s right now, pre-Civil War.
So do we have another one of those, or we got a quote for the day?
We have a quote for today. Never knock on death's door. Ring the bell and run away. Death really hates that.
That makes sense. Well, Joe, let's do some interesting but useless facts.
So, one interesting fact today, American colonists discovered that superior candles could be made from the fruit of a squat bush growing in the sand dunes along the New England seashore. The small grayish bayberry was picked, crushed, and boiled. It had to be skimmed several times before the pale, nearly transparent green fat was sufficiently refined. Bayberry candles were so highly prized because so much labor and so many berries were needed to make just one candle. A mother in Sydney, Australia gave birth to twins 56 days apart in different years. One was born on the 17th of December 1952 and the other on the 10th of February 1953.
They're twins?
They're twins.
Jesus Christ.
It is illegal for men to wear strapless dresses in Miami, Florida.
You know, you ever wonder about the people that look up these interesting but useless facts?
I don't know. It must be the most fun job in the world. Do you know that dirty snow melts quicker than clean snow? Half of all Americans live within 50 miles of their birthplace.
Really? Half?
Half.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Like, more than 1 million.
Wow.
The world's fattest cat weighs 22 pounds, making it morbidly obese.
Fat cat.
The Wizard of Oz was a Broadway musical 37 years before the MGM movie version was made. It had 293 performances and then went on a tour that lasted 9 years.
Holy cow, really?
I had no idea.
Isn't that interesting? That's really interesting. What else we got?
Rhode Island, the smallest state, has a larger population than Alaska, the largest state.
Geographically.
I guess no one wants to live in Alaska.
Geographically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Alaska's a huge geographic state. Yeah.
Donkeys are commonly used by the Iraqi military to launch rockets.
Jackass.
Belgium is the only country that has never imposed censorship for adult films, it says.
Oh, for adult films. Okay. What else we got?
On February 7th, 1969, a meteorite weighing over 1 ton fell into Chihuahua, Mexico.
Yeah, it probably didn't hit anything.
There are 79 to 84 different species of whale. They came in many different shapes and sizes. 79 to 84.
That's a whale of a tail.
Yeah, when I look at a whale, I'm like, oh, it's a whale. It's not like,
What else we got, Joe? We got time for a couple more.
Dr. Frederick Mesmer, an Austrian physician and the inventor of mesmerism, a forerunner of hypnosis, introduced the harmonica to France.
That wasn't even interesting.
Yeah, it sure was useless.
Yeah. What else we got? Last one, Joe.
All of the roles in Shakespeare's plays were originally acted by men and boys. In England at the time, it wasn't proper for females to appear on stage.
Well, you know what? Let's do one more. Just one last one.
I had known that one. King penguins are the second largest penguin species. They have 4 layers of feathers to keep them warm on the cold subantarctic islands where they breed.
Yep, that one wasn't all that interesting either. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Today's story, as I told you before, is Dreams of Ivy Land. And we'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400 4900, or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. I don't know where that girl came from, Joey. Anyway, at 4:54 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 64 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Sydney, Australia, it's 77 degrees. It's overcast. It's tomorrow morning at 11:54. And if you're in Auckland, New Zealand, it's 75 degrees and it's raining over there. But it's not raining here. We're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story.
The American Broadcasting Company calls him the biggest voice in America. He's Paul Harvey, and each week millions of listeners, viewers, and readers awaited his unraveling of the mysteries of events and lives of people past and present. Heard on over 1,400 radio stations, seen on 110 television stations, and read in 300 newspapers. The rest of the story has for years been exploring the byways of history with revelations that are intriguing, amusing, and surprising.
So what's today's story, Joe?
Today's story is called Dreams of Ivy Island. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Phineas Taylor. He had been born and properly christened in 1810 in the sleepy parish of Bethel, Connecticut. One might say that the little boy's dreams began at his christening. It was then that the kindly old grandfather Taylor presented newborn Phineas with a deed, a sizable parcel of land on the outskirts of the parish, a property to which grandfather referred as Ivy Island. From Phineas's early youth, he was reminded by all with whom he came in contact that he was a landowner. Young Phineas was the richest boy in town, his grandfather always said, for he owned every acre of Ivy Island, the most valuable farm in Connecticut. Mother and father, too, frequently reminded Phineas of his good fortune. They begged him not to forget the rest of the family when he came of age. Phineas assured them he would not. When the neighbors learned that Phineas had inherited so large a property, they professed to fear that the boy would refuse to play with their children. So young Phineas made a point of playing with the neighbors' children, saying magnanimously that his wealth would never go to his head. It did. For while the daydreams of the other little boys and girls were filled with dragons and knights, Phineas's fantasies were based on the reality of his inheritance. One day he would be the lord of Ivy Island, that promised land of rippling streams and waving grain upon which Mother Nature had bestowed her finest riches. Phineas was satisfied with these dreams until the summer of 1820, when he was 10. It was then that his father gave in to the endless pleas and agreed to take young Phineas to see Ivy Island for the first time. 3 sleepless nights preceded the expedition. Then, one bright morning, Phineas and his father and a hired hand began the long-awaited journey to a young boy's promised land. Over hill and field, Phineas kept inquiring, "How close are we?" And his father would answer that they were very close indeed. Finally, Dad pointed north to the end of a long meadow and beyond to a row of tall trees reaching magnificently into the sky. "There," he said, "there is Ivy Island." Young Phineas, overcome with the joy of anticipation, could wait no longer. He dashed out into the meadow, leaving his father far behind, out to the end of the meadow and to the row of stately trees and to the land which lay beyond. Ivy Island, the property deeded to Phineas at birth, described by his grandfather as the most valuable farm in Connecticut, was in reality 5 barren acres of worthless, snake-infested marshland. Struggling ivy vines clinging for their lives to a few straggling trees in the midst of a dismal swamp. Nothing more. As the stunned 10-year-old boy continued to gaze upon the shattering dematerialization of his dream, his father and the hired hand who had accompanied them roared with laughter. For years, young Phineas had been the laughing stock of his family and of his neighborhood, and he had not known until now When he returned home, Phineas was soberly congratulated by Grandfather Taylor. The gift of Ivy Island had been the most protracted practical joke the old gentleman had ever staged. 10-year-old Phineas was not laughing. Although eventually he forgave, he never forgot. For that one devastating instance of childhood disillusionment, that one humiliating joke shaped the rest of Phineas's life. He became the ultimate con artist, a man determined to prove the world is full of fools. Because once he was deceived by his own grandfather, he was inspired to make a lifelong career of deception. The boy whose fondest hopes once rested in a soggy patch of worthless real estate became the master of the greatest show on earth. The man who boldly declared there to be a sucker born every minute and spent his life proving it. It was Phineas Taylor, P.T. Barnum. And now you know the rest of the story.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.